Hey everybody, this is Rob Pittman giving you guys a rundown on how to digitally do a micro DBQ. We're going to be doing a lot of these years, so we wanted to walk through it once with you to make sure you kind of understood exactly what was going on. So first you're going to open it up and you're going to have a thing that should say, your last name, 2018 edition micro DBQ. Whenever we write historically, whether it's AP class, US history, or anytime you write, you got to look at the question. So, why did workers strike at the Homestead Mill? That is what we are focusing on. That is a mill owned by Andrew Carnegie. So, I know that I'm going to be looking at the point of view, or I'm going to be wondering about the workers, why they went on strike, and where they went on strike at was the Homestead Mill. My first step that I got to do is I have to annotate my document. So, I'm going to look at the source, document A. Emma Goldman, Living My Life, New York, Alfred Knopf, Incorporated, 1931, page 83 to 85. This is from History Matters. So now I know my source, Emma Goldman. I got to ask myself who she was. I know she's a union sympathizer, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to give myself a little context. So if I had the factory owner, Carnegie or Frick doing it, they would be from the point of view of the Homestead Mill. She is from the point of view of the workers. Now I'm going to start reading it. Read silently on your own, and then I'm going to highlight some parts that I think are good. All right, so the first bit I kind of see is where she describes the iron steel workers. She says that they are consisting mostly of strong Americans, men of decision and grit who stood up for their rights. I get that. I'm going to make a comment by that. There I'm going to say, how does she portray them? As tough, hard-working Americans. I'm going to add that to it there. Carnegie Company, on the other hand, was a powerful corporation. Andrew Carnegie, president, turned over the management to Henry Clay Frick, man known for his hatred of unions. Right? So Frick has a hatred of unions. I'm going to add myself another compliment. Frick hates unions. He's already, is he going to treat them fair? I'm going to ask myself a question, not going to treat them fair. So these are my thoughts over here. I could add another thing where it's a little bit like, I'm going to edit that one. It's also a little bit like David and Goliath. An underdog against this big, huge thing. All right, Carnegie Company enjoyed great wealth, prosperity. Wages were arranged between the company and the union according to a sliding scale based on the current market price of steel. All right, they're going to probably argue over money. Why? Because everybody argues over money. Unless you're a teacher, and then you don't really care because I'm not in it for the money, right? So I'm going to ask my question, does that sound fair? Wages are based on the price of steel. Steel is where they make their profits. That's where the wages come from. For me, that sounds fair. And it's a past agreement they have. I hope you guys can hear my computer typing because it is loud. All right, so then this next paragraph talks about what Carnegie did, at least from the point of view of the workers. So he abolished the sliding scale, right? Abolish, that's a strong word. That makes me think of abolishing slavery, makes me think of doing away with. All right, and then so no more recognition of the union. And then close the mill. But it's a declaration of war, right? Why did they feel it was war? Question. Now, think about that for yourself. Why would the union workers feel like it was war if it was about their wages? What would make them be like, wow, I feel like you're threatening my life? Ponder that a little bit. I'm not going to give you that one. Okay, here's another interesting one. Their tone was manly, ringing with the spirit of the rebellious forebears of the Revolutionary War. So that's a good comparison. Compares struggle to the American Rev. All right, the news flashed across the country of the slaughter of steelworkers by the Pinkertons. All right, so in this, the Pinkertons come, this is a detective agency that does like enforcement. They're kind of like thugs, right? And they shoot and kill some of the workers. So slaughter is a key. Bam, 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 right? Now, did they do that flat out? Did they not? Is there a possibility of like a little bit of like action from the workers? Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later, but we're just going with the evidence that we got. Here's something similar. This could be a little similar to police officers when they use force. If somebody's got a knife coming at me and I shoot them dead, as a police officer, I'm going to be fine with that. As like the relative of the dude with the knife, I'd be like, why didn't you use a taser? So we got to think of perspective. That's a good word to throw in, perspective. All right. All right, this whole bit here is good. All right, so this right here, this, how are the Pinkertons and the strike breakers portrayed? Right? I'm going to write that in. How are the Pinkertons and the strike breakers portrayed? Also called scabs. If you want to, at one point, you can ask me about when my brother Randy was a scab in Wyoming, and it was bad, man. Question. So, as you annotate yourself, I want you to answer that question, and I want you to have like two verbs, like descriptor verbs, right? I don't know, maybe they're called adjectives. Go ask an English teacher. Okay? I'm not going to give you any, just think of some. How are they portrayed? All right. Now, I'm going to comment there. So after you annotate, you're going to answer these questions. 1, how were the union members described? 2, why were the union members striking? What did they feel was unfair? Sliding scale. Then how are Frick and the Pinkertons portrayed? All right, now I got to examine the document. We're going to use, usually we go with 1 bucket per document, but that's all right. We're going to have 2 here. So label the buckets, use the buckets to write down evidence from the document that explains, oh my gosh, I forgot an S there, why workers went on strike. Use direct quotes from the document. So what are my labels going to be? Got to go back to the question. Why did the workers strike at the Homestead Mill? Okay, let's think about it. Probably 1 could be money. So I'm going to insert fart. What am I going to insert? I'm going to insert a comment? Nope. I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to edit. I'm going to insert a text box. Right here, I'm going to label it money. All right? Because their wages were damaged. Okay? Now, why else would they strike? You know, why did the workers strike? Because, you know, that was damage. So that impacted their money. Another label I could have, and these are, you guys can do anything you want, all right? But another label could be the wages, which is the same as money but slightly different. Let's get, you know, a little deeper. So if my wages are impacted, what else would that affect in my life? If I look at myself, I'm married, I got 2 kids. Would that impact my family? I could add my family down there. All of those things. Now, I'm going to save and close that. I'm going to go back up here to the top. And wages were arranged. Okay. So Carnegie abolished the sliding scale. So that is a direct quote. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to hit my edit, go to my text box. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to click there. I'm going to go paste. Abolish the sliding scale. Who did it? Carnegie, right? Comes from the document. Save and close it. Let's see. Do we got anything else that I could work? Okay. It was an open declaration of war. Command copy. Now I'm going to go back down to my thingies. I'm going to edit it. And remember, you can pick any of these, and you can do 1 bucket, 2 buckets. I'm going to take this one out. Just delete it. Just delete. Wags, delete. I'm going to move family in. Why, you ask? I will explain. All right, so I'm going to add another text box. All right, it was an open declaration of war. So, and I'll just hold on. All right, so why did the workers at the Homestead still strike? Why did workers strike at the Homestead Mill? I got to write my claim, okay? Remember this, claim, evidence, reasoning. So this is a claim. This is my topic sentence. All right, this is a baby thesis. I'm spelling thesis wrong. Right? Thesis, yeah. All right, so my claim is this. The worker's family, I got to use a possessive family, were threatened by Carnegie and Frick. They decided to strike. I'm going with were. All right. I don't care about that part. Now, so that's my claim. Now, if you want to, you can go like email one of your buddies, do a Zoom with them, and like talk about best piece of evidence for your point of view. So I could argue, I could use both of these pieces, right? Whoosh. Edit. I'm going to move this puppy also into here too, because I'm sticking with the family thing, all right? So what are my best pieces of evidence that say that the workers' family were threatened? One, abolished the sliding scale. So their wages were going to be dampened. They felt like it was a declaration of war. And I'm going to add to their family because it's their livelihood. So you could go and talk about that with somebody else. Now, building a better argument. So with a partner, read the paragraph below. They answer the same question. All right. So the question is, why did the workers go on strike? Now we're going to do this thing where you guys do rainbow editing. All right. Rainbow editing. Okay. Highlight the baby thesis blue, the evidence yellow, the argument pink, not peak. All right, so sample. The workers of the Homestead Mill went on strike for several reasons. As stated in Emma Goldberg's source, Carnegie decided to abolish the sliding scale. The workers demanded the right for a fair wage for their work. They also thought that the factory manager Frick was mean and rotten. This highlighted in part that described the Pinkertons. Okay. So what's my claim? Is it the first sentence? I think so, because it, kind of answers it. It does that. Now I got to go to highlight, which is highlight color, blue. There it is. Oh, I don't like that blue. I want a softer blue. Yeah. All right. Now, I got to highlight some of the evidence. That's some quotes right there. All right, that's evidence. It comes from the primary source. We're going to go golden. I like that. All right, the workers demand for right for Frick fair wage work. They also thought the factory manager Frick was mean, right, and this highlighted that. Now, the argument is the explanation. It's the addressing how the evidence hits my claim. So the workers demanded right for fair wage for their work. Okay. That looks like some definite thinking about it. Pink? That's rosy. That's pinkish. Pinky rose, whatever. All right. They also thought that the factory manager Frick was mean and rotten. So that's, the argument is my thoughts about the evidence. Oh, I like that pink better. Nope, that's the same pink. All right. This part here, this is highlighting the part about that describes, the part that described the Pinkertons. Yeah, and that's a little bit of that. That's telling me where the evidence is from. So I'm going to leave it blank for now. All right. But that's a little bit of that. Here's a good rule of thumb. For every piece of evidence, I got to have 2 lines of explanation. Now, let's look at sample 2. The Pinkertons attacked the Union strikers, killing unarmed civilians. Henry Frick was extremely unfair to the workers. He was viewed as larger-than-life character who treated the workers like slaves. Okay. That's actually from something else that we used to show, but it's not in there. So I'm going to go with, I'm not going to change it, but we're going to do it. So what is like the actual point? Why did they go on strike? The workers wanted equality and the ability to improve their lives. That sounds a little bit like a claim. All right, so that is blue. Now, the Pinkertons were attacked the Union strikers, killing unarmed civilians. So that sounds a little bit more like evidence. And then this is also evidence too. But I don't know. That doesn't work. Anyway. So now you got to do question 1. The baby thesis in sample 1 is doing its job, but it's missing a thing. It's not giving you the why. So you got to answer that. This baby thesis, the workers wanted equality and ability to improve their life, doesn't state what they're wanting it for or what they did to get that, which is the strike. Now, or good, find 2 more pieces of evidence from the document that would enhance these arguments. So just do this for document 1. Carnegie decided to abolish the sliding scale. Find other ones that are in there that talk about that. If you can only find one, I'm okay with that. Now try to adjust the reasoning. Just do it for 1 paragraph, okay? Now you got to do your shot, all right? So we got to think a baby thesis, evidence, and then argument. If I go back up here, I've already written out my claim. So you already got part of the work done. Copy and paste that junk. Come back here. Bam. The workers' families were threatened by Carnegie and Frick. They decided to strike. Now, let's go back up to where my evidence is. That's in the buckets. Okay? So, what? All right. In the document, let's go with in the Goldman document, it stated that Carnegie abolished the sliding scale. Oh, I don't need to capitalize that. Okay, boom. Now, my second bit was, well, here, I want to address this. So, abolish the sliding scale. So, the workers' pay would be impacted, and what would be the impact? They would make less money. So they would make less money from that. Now, all right, that's talking about the workers, they took it as a, probably need a comment in there. Sorry, Mrs. McKegg. As a open declaration of war, period, quote. Now, who do they have it as an open declaration on? On their family. The Homestead Mill was attacking their family. The workers felt threatened, and decided to take action. And then I'll just kind of color it a little bit. Take action to defend those most sacred to their heart. Boom. Now that's good, but I got to close that up a bit. This is why they decided to take on Frick and the Pinkertons and go on strike. Boom. So now that I've done this, there we go. Thank God for autocorrect. Now I got a rainbow edit. Notice this last bit. Rainbow edit your essay before turning it in. Notice it. Do it. Okay? So you guys got to also do that. All right? So hopefully this kind of explains the method that we got to go through. Don't worry. We're going to do like 6 or 7 of these, 3 or 4 like full out essays. So it's going to be cool. All right. Hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, email me, Mrs. Downing, Mr. Downing.